Alrighty, so when the 9th anniversary dropped over on JP Dokkan, it introduced this category known as the Super Bosses category. Now, the first leader for this team, AGL Full Power Broly, as well as the sub-lead Mr. Int Golden Frieza. This Broly, a polarizing unit, I guess we could call them. A lot of people wanted to say this was outright the best unit in the game. A lot of people, saying this is like the 7th best unit in the game when he came out, stuff like that. This video isn't really about what, the thought on Broly, but one thing that people noticed was that he led a category, Super Bosses, that was not great, right? A lot of people were yip-yapping about, how Broly's team was really good, and then a lot of people were talking about how Broly's team was really bad, and I felt that the discourse that I more commonly saw was related to how this guy's leader skill was not very good, or his teams were not built for him very well. Now, the issue with this Broly, this isn't the whole point of the video, I just want to talk about it, right? The issue with this Broly really comes down to the synergy within his team and the domains, right? This right here has been a problem for this Broly as long as he's been around, because there are a lot of characters on this team that have, not a lot, but a few characters on this team that have domains that kind of, overlap with this Broly, and it makes it a little bit difficult because you can't really work with it, right? This Zamasu has a domain as well as this physical Goku Black, and a lot of these characters are wanting to be around Super Bosses characters. So, that kind of led to a bit of a problem, and one thing that also kind of was an issue for this team was, especially into longer events, we sort of kind of ran into a couple issues where we just don't have a lot of defensive options, or characters are running out of their stuff, right? This guy right here is a prime example of someone that gets worse as the fight goes on. This Rose Goku Black is a bit of a different case, but, sorry for the long intro, but the point of this video is talking about LR Cell Max, right? LR Cell Max comes out, and now all of a sudden we're looking at the Super Bosses team, is it saved, right? Is that the question? I think we could at least talk about this category, right? Is this team starting to get to where it needs to be, and is it a good team as we kind of wanted it to be when it came out? Because a lot of people noticed that Super Bosses was just not up to snuff, especially when we had something like Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, who hadn't easy aid yet on Global, or JP yet, and now that we do have that, it kind of does help. So let's talk about the Super Bosses team and why I think LR Cell Max is such a big deal for this specific squad. Now, if we look at the translations for a Cell Max, I won't read absolutely everything, but this is a character that is essentially invincible on his active skill condition, massively raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage, raises for 1 turn, and then defense plus 999%, and all enemy attacks are redirected to this character. So, in addition to the multiple domains that we've seen that are, as controversial as they get, we have a character that has a taunt. So now we have a whole new thing being added to the picture here with this team. Now, we have Cell Max, who's a defensive ace, right? This is a new character who, shout out to Jordan for this one, Jordan20. He compared them to Piccolo, right? Power Awakened Piccolo, and I think that's a decent comparison, where all of a sudden we have like an extreme version of Orange Piccolo, right? And that is going to really help this team. And with this character, we have some real top-end stuff here, right? We have Broly, who's a top 10 unit in the game. We have this Cell Max, who's probably top 10. Very, very, very powerful unit. We have this Beerus, who can be ran, especially in like a floating spot, because he has a taunt as well, and he'll be defensively there. Not the greatest character in the world, I will admit, but can work, right? We have Goku Black, who can look impressive. We have this Topo, who can look very impressive, but he's a little special pose restricted, but, you can kind of work around that a bit, I would say. You have Kefla Zizia, who looks good. She wants to be on Universe 6. So, kind of as I dissect this specific category, there are some very good options, right? And we also have physical Goku Black Super Easy. I don't know where that is on here, right here. This is also a very impressive character, but this team isn't perfect yet, right? I don't want to come on here and say like this is the best team in the game or anything like that, despite what the title may say or anything like that. But I think this team is starting to kind of get to where it needs to be, right? We have the Broly trio as well. These are going to be some very, very impressive characters that are going to help you in almost any type of content. And Cell Max is going to be one of those characters that it can kind of just say take any event, right? But you can take any event and sort of work with it, right? I think that would be sort of the bigger picture that I would get from this right now. This team is going to work very well, right? Now, one thing that could be a little bit of a problem with this guy, if we go to the passive, we're going to be losing a decent bit if there's a superhero around, right? And one thing that you'll notice is they want you to have artificial life forms with this Cell Max, right? And one big issue with artificial life forms, if you're going to run this team, is that the other best unit on this squad is going to be a superhero, right? Where if you want to run artificial life forms, you're probably going to be running the Gammas in every version of this team right now. Like the Gamma 1 lead probably be where you're going, and then you have to run, if you're someone, especially if you're on JP, you have to run the LR Gammas if you're going to run a Gamma 1, because the Gammas are just like the best unit on this team, right? Between him and Cell Max, I'm not sure right now. Again, I have to do my own homework on that, but the taunt with LR Cell Max is going to be extremely, extremely valuable, right? And the same thing with the Gammas, they're going to be extremely tanky on their standby, and it does make things pretty spicy. So the issue, like I said, is you are losing out on a decent bit, where you can see it right here. I can't highlight it, but you can see my cursor. You get an additional attack 250% plus 250%, and a chance to perform a crit by 30% when there is no superhero category ally. So if you do run this team and you have the Gammas running around, that is going to kind of proc the superhero thing, and you're going to be losing out on crit chance as well as 250% to your attack. So it makes it very tricky to run this guy on artificial life forms, just because this is a very Gamma-centric team right now. Because you have to run, if you have the LR Gammas, you have to run them on this team, right? Just because they are like the best unit. So you do have to keep that in mind, I think, when you are talking about this team, and it can make things a little bit tricky. But if you want to run like a pure Super Bosses team, I don't think it's quite there yet for every single event, but this team is absolutely on the up and up, and Cell Max is exactly what it needed. So I will pose the question to you. What do you guys think? Do you think the Super Bosses team is saved with, or not saved, but is the Super Bosses team on the up and up with the release of LR Cell Max? I think it's tricky, but in my opinion, I think this team is just like, it's the pieces are there, right? If we want to talk about a pure 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, who else do we got in here? 5, you could run him. 6, you know, we got 7, but again, it's just the synergy. You have to run Universe 6, so it's very tough to run this Kefla around the team, right? 7 when it comes to usable units, and then you also, if you want to run his leader skill, you have somebody like Beast Gohan you can run on Broly's leader skill. So double Broly is starting to become maybe a viable team, but we'll see. Let me know down below what you guys think of the Super Bosses team. Just wanted to give my general thoughts on what this release means, rather than breaking down the kit and all that fun stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new, so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Turn on notifications as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.